thank you, Gary, for taking the time to talk to us.
I want to take a picture.
Where? Oh, I already have. Yeah.
Inside the cage?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to do an interview real quick.
Oh, I'm so
sorry. No problem.
I did not get it.
No worries.
So firstly, Gary, how has the experience been here in Bahrain so far?
It's been amazing. Seeing your poster everywhere, seeing your face all over the city. The fans went to the Indian school of Bahrain. That was amazing. All those students. It's been overwhelming. Obviously, the fight always keeps you anxious and you know nervous with the butterflies and stuff. So you don't fully get to enjoy it until after you get to take it all in. But it's been an amazing experience. It's been truly something fascinating. I love it. Can't wait to sit back and kind of take it all in, go all over it.
Right, and we've seen your photos with the kids, interacting with the kids. How does it feel to know that you're a role model to these growing aspiring fighters?
That was my whole goal with this. My whole goal with mixed martial arts was to inspire the next generation of people that should be chasing their dreams. It's not to inspire just fighters. It wasn't just to inspire next generation fighter, but kids to believe in themselves, believe in their culture, believe in everything that they are, and chase their dreams and believe in themselves. I was an accountant up until the age of 22. Then I discovered mixed martial arts. Everything was against me. Nobody expected me to even get to a stage like this. It was just a matter of me taking control of my own mind and just working at it day in and day out. I was just this weak-minded kid up until the age of 22, and look where I'm at now. I'm about to make history out here. I'm out in Bahrain. I'm around the Prince. I'm around a lot of people. It's amazing. It's just someone's vision coming to life, and that's what it all comes down to, and that's what I'm trying to inspire.
Right, and I talked to Jeremy Kennedy as well yesterday, and he said something interesting. He said, me, I personally don't look at the footage of fighters to prepare for them, but Gary does. He was even watching the videos while on the plane while we were coming here. Is that something that you always do, study your opponents?
No, it's actually not. We were just kind of sitting around for a 5-hour stay, so we ended up going over it. I usually don't either. That's another one of those things, and then after that point, they said leave it to us, don't watch it, just focus on your game, and that's what it really comes down to. Since I've been here, I haven't watched anything, and just focusing on myself, and that's all that matters.
Right, and this fight is special because it's a title fight, the first title in the weight division. What do you make of that, you competing for the first ever title fight in Brave, in that weight class?
It's historic. It's a lot of responsibility. I came fully prepared. I took the role of it, the role of fighting for this title very seriously. I want to represent my people to the fullest with this and make history as one of the first to hold an international MMA belt, and that's what I'm on the path to doing tomorrow night.
Right, and one thing if you can clear for us, because I thought it was for the bantamweight title, but it was announced at flyweight?
No, it's at bantamweight.
It's at bantamweight, right?
Yeah,
because it was announced at 135. So even
okay, no, it's at 135. It's bantamweight title.
It's at 135.
Yeah.
Right. So as you said, you'll be representing India. You had the chance to become the first Indian decent fighter to actually hold a title in a major international promotion. What does that mean for you personally?
Me, I'm just trying to represent my people worldwide, not just Indians in India, all over the world. I'm just trying to break barriers with this. You got to understand that there's not a lot of Indian kids that are supported from day one in a sport. There's a lot of kids who are told to stay in school, get your degree, work a safe job. There's a lot more of those than there is those kids who have gone full support in sports and stuff like that. I'm that kid who didn't have that support of being in sports. My parents said, listen man, stay away from this, do it as a hobby, but don't ever get too involved with it. So I'm a common story amongst many Indian people, and that's why I'm trying to use my story to inspire others. That listen man, when I started at the age of 22, they were like, this is too late. You have no background in anything. You have nothing that you can bring into the mixed martial arts world. And I said, watch, I'll put it together piece by piece, and here we are now. That's all I've been doing. I've just been fully dedicated, and this is just something I'm stubborn. I wanted to prove this to myself, and now from just proving it to my parents, it's become a worldwide thing now. So I started with just my household, and look where we're at now.
Right, and also heard that you kind of spend your time between two gyms, one in TriStar and somewhere else.
Yeah, so I moved to Montreal a little while ago, a few years ago. Then I came back to Vancouver. What happened was my grandma passed away just a couple months ago at the beginning of this training camp. And I really didn't want to take this title fight. I really didn't want to fight. I wanted to just be around my family, because if you know how mixed martial arts training is, you sacrifice a lot of time away from your family. If you're in the gym 6 to 7 hours, then you're resting, then you're sleeping. There's not a lot of time to spend with your family. So I've sacrificed many years away from them. So after that, I kind of had to put priority, and family was coming first. My wife sat me down. She's like, listen, you have an opportunity to make history. Go away from Vancouver and go back to Montreal for this camp. I'll handle everything back home. And that's exactly what happened. And the hardest thing was leaving home after everything that happened at my house, and just using my grandma's memory as a motivation now. And this is the first time where I'm learning how to use a negative situation in a positive way. It's been tough. It's been very tough. It's a lot of long nights, but I truly feel like she'll be looking over me tomorrow night, and I'll be fighting with her spirit in me tomorrow night.
Right, now just talking about that, how hard is it for a fighter especially to focus when such a big fight is coming up, when you're going through such adversity? How difficult is it?
Yeah, like I always say that God always sends challenges for a certain reason, right? So this was one of those new challenges. I had to figure it out. I had to, like, you know, I had a good friend come up to me on the day she passed away. She said, you'll realize that the people that were there for you in this life will actually be able to help you more when they have passed. And I didn't really understand what that meant. And that's exactly what I've realized as I've gone through the course of this training camp. I've talked to my grandma more than ever, because I've always just had her in my head. I've talked to her on the days that I didn't want to go training, the days that got really hard, the days I was like, dude, I just miss my family, I want to go home. Even right now with, you know, the butterflies and everything of this fight right now, talking to her to get me in the cage, give me strength. So these are things that I never actually got to do when she was around, because I knew she was at home. How would you know? But now I know she's around me. So I talk to her whenever I can, and then that's what you'll see tomorrow.
Right, so finally, do you have any message for the fans back in India? You've obviously talked to them a lot of times before. You've been in India, you've fought in India. So what does it mean for you to just, you know, be here, compete for the championship, and represent so many people?
I'm just here to represent my people worldwide. We're everywhere. I'm just trying to inspire the next generation, and that's what it is. Like I've said it before, that I'm just a common kid. I'm from a small town, live in big city dreams. You know, meeting these actors who I used to watch in movies are now coming to my fights. The prince, like, you know, the most royal people sitting front row. These are all just dreams. These are all visions that people are witnessing a reality of mine that I just created in my mind, and now they've come to life. So it's all it is. It's a matter of taking charge of your life, believe in yourself, believe in your roots, believe in your culture, and watch how much strength you find. And you don't just gotta be a fighter in any part of any dream you have. Artist, singer, doesn't matter. Apply to whatever you want, and see what can happen.
Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Hello guys, this is brave fighter Mohammed Farhad. I'm fighting Pride of Bahrain Hamza Koheji on November 17th. The fight will start from 5 p.m. and it's only one more day to go. So I know along with me we all have been waiting for this. So I'm ready to do this.
So stylistically, what do you think about the matchup with Koheji?
My prediction against Koheji is a knockout victory, maybe in a round or two.
So after your last fight, basically after the way in which you won your fight, what have you been up to since then? Just for the fans to catch up.
So it's not a long time since I have fought last time in Brave, which was held in Bombay. I've been training for this fight since a couple of months around. So yeah, I've been working on all aspects: ground, wrestling, stand-up. So I'm ready for anything, whatever is coming in the cage.
And there's this misconception that you're primarily and mostly a boxer. We have heard a lot of fighters say that. So what do you have to say to that?
Maybe people think I'm a boxer because I have a 100% knockout victory. Even if you check in showdog.com, my base is actually Muay Thai. I've started with Muay Thai. So I'm a couple of time champ in the national level. And yeah, about boxing, maybe the misconception happened because It happened to be like I always try to improve my skills to another level. So I respect boxing a lot, and equally I respect grappling also, because I'm an MMA fighter and I have to do this because being a professional MMA fighter, I have to be good enough in all aspects.
So the last time you were on the main card in India, this time you'll be the featured fight on the prelims card. Just how do you see this trajectory of yours going in Brave going forward?
This fight this time in Brave 9 is actually an unofficial main event because I'm fighting with the pride of Bahrain with the 3 championship belts, which will be happening, 3 championship fight I mean, which will be happening on 17th November at Brave 9. Most of the focus is on this fight also because, as I mentioned, I'm fighting Hamza Khoeji. He's the pride of Bahrain. He's the best fighter in Bahrain. So anyway, I'm lucky to have this opportunity to fight in Bahrain and having a good relations with them.
And you said you would never say anything bad about Hamza Khoeji going into the fight. Is there something that you would like to say, as in just something for your opponent to take notice?
See, I'm here because of Hamza Khoeji, I believe. Sheikh Khalid have started this promotion maybe because of Hamza Khoeji, mostly because he was the only professional fighter in Brave. So I respect him because of him I am here actually.
Again, I mean, if you have to send a message to your opponent.
For my opponent, see, at the end of the day, he's my opponent after all. So I am going with all the intentions to hurt him inside the cage. Hamza is a good guy, I know. Yeah, we have talked a couple of times since we took amateur Indian team to Bahrain a couple of times. But as I mentioned, that he's my opponent at the end of the day. So I'm going to hurt him bad.
And the other thing you talked about was just the 3 title fights happening on the card. With one win, there's a good chance you next fight for one of those titles. So what are your thoughts about that?
I'll definitely go for it. Let it be anyone who's winning. So after I win this fight, my next target is the championship belt. I've mentioned this before, that if you have asked me the same question last year, I would have said that maybe I'm not ready for this, but this time I am more than ready.
So as you said, we're just one more day away. Do you have any message for the Indian fans that you'd like to send out?
I appreciate all the support from my Indian MMA fans, my supporters. I have quite loyal fans. Thank you so much. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this good. And yeah, you're going to see me winning.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, this is Atif Muhammad Khadim. People say me the Little Hawk, and I'm 23 years old. I'm a mixed martial arts professional MMA fighter. I've been training since the past 7 years, actually from when I was 15. So I started with Taekwondo, and then I transitioned into Muay Thai, then I transitioned into Jiu-Jitsu, and then started mixing it up, and now from the past 5 years I've been training into mixed martial arts.
How did you get into martial arts to begin with?
See, as you can see, I'm a small guy, you know, but I have a lot of pride too. So you could see a lot of people trying to, you know, pick on me. Not a lot, but I would really think of sometimes, what if somebody tries to actually attack me and stuff. I don't know anything. So I joined martial arts gym. I saw my instructor Muhammad Shahid on the beach having a demonstration, and that motivated me. And when I joined him, that was the beginning. I was so in love with the sport. My instructors were great. That was one of the main motivation why I am in the sport right now.
And what made you jump into jiu-jitsu? Because you came from a striking background, as you said.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu, again, like most of the fights, 90% actually, it goes to the ground. So what are you going to do when the fight goes to the ground? And I believe jiu-jitsu empowers people, small people. It is for the smaller guy to defend himself against a bigger guy, try to work things out, and it really helped me a lot.
Right, and can you just talk about your introduction to MMA and how you got into professional?
So my instructor, he started getting into MMA. He started going and competing in MMA. That motivated me. Muhammad Shahid. Yes, and that's how I got inside. And again, MMA made more sense to me because that's more realistic. You can get into a fight because anything can happen. So if you are on the street by chance, like you don't know a guy is a boxer, you don't know a guy is a jiu-jitsu player, or you don't know the guy is a wrestler. So you need to know all the disciplines in order for you to understand and defend yourself.
Right, and you said you were in Bahrain for 9 years.
Yes, I've been in Bahrain for 9 years. It's just recently, last 3 months, I'm out. I've shifted.
Right, so when you were in Bahrain, you used to train off KHK MMA, I'm thinking.
Yes, so I started off training at Bahrain MMA, then I got selected in the national team for KHK. I was the first Indian to be in the national team, and then I got promoted to the professional MMA team, and I got the contract for Brave.
And what do you think about the impact of Sheikh joining forces with KHK MMA to establish Brave?
It's huge actually, because the support which comes in immense, not just manpower, but the motivation, the leadership. It has changed the whole scenario. The passion with which His Highness comes in has made a big difference. As you can see in Bahrain, nobody knew this country more as well, and now within 2 years you see world championships of MMA happening in the kingdom. So it's a huge thing. He's been behind his athletes from the beginning. He supports them, he loves them, he helps them in all the aspects what an athlete would need. And I think it's great, it's amazing to see a platform which is built on, and all the athletes are benefiting from it.
Right, and what do you think about the International Fight Week, which usually happens in Vegas? Now something similar happening in Brave, in Bahrain.
It's a big step for the Kingdom of Bahrain. They've really made a huge jump. The fighting scene over here is becoming way different. People are involving into it more. The youth is participating, understanding. People are being educated about this. It's not just old school, two people are fighting in a cage. No, it's much more than that. Now people have been realizing, mentalities have been changing, and it's benefiting everybody.
Right, and for those who might not know about your opponent, can you just talk?
Oh, my opponent, again, he's from Pakistan. I haven't been looking up much for him because I don't, I've seen him. He hasn't impressed me a lot. He is a decent fighter, I believe, yeah, but he's nothing in compared to me. I believe I have advantage in all the aspects, let it be striking, let it be grappling, let it be jiu-jitsu, and I'm more than ready in the fight. I'm not going to say much. I'm just too excited to get inside the cage and just show the people and myself that, yeah, what I am. I'm going to steal the show. That's it.
So what can the fans expect from?
Oh, fans are gonna expect a lightning fast fight. It's gonna be good. I'm looking for knocking him out. Whether it come in the first round or second round, I don't care. But I'm gonna be haunting this guy. I'm gonna be mauling him. I'm gonna be making sure. I want blood, actually. Yeah, I would want to just have a bloody fight, have fun. I want to beat him up. I want to enjoy doing that.
All right, sounds good. Finally, do you have anything to say, any shout out for the fans?
Guys, please come up. Now, one thing is there, it's on November 17th, Friday. My fight is the first fight, so be there. It's gonna start at 5 exactly, but I want you to come in before 3:30, 4 o'clock, because you are gonna be, it's gonna be crowded, so make sure you come in early and be there, guys. All the Indians out there, I will fight for everybody. I want your support. Come up, cheer up your boy, and rest lay in God's hands. Thank you so much.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
I'm Jeremy Kennedy. I have 11-0 professional record. I fight in the featherweight division, and I'm signed to the UFC. I'm here at Brave 9 to corner Gary Mangat.
So Jeremy, just tell us your experience you're here in Bahrain.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Gary for a long time now, a few years, and I've cornered him for probably his last 4 fights.
Your experience?
Oh, my experience here?
Yeah.
So far? Oh, I've liked Bahrain. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a bit of a culture shock, you know, from what I've experienced. I've been to a lot of places around the world, but I think this is the biggest culture shock for me. And but I like it. I'm embracing it. I've been spending the week at the IMMAF for the amateur tournament, coaching Team Canada. So it's been a pretty cool experience for me.
And you're used to going to Vegas, watching the fight nights and fight weeks. How is that compared to what is happening now in Bahrain?
It's just different because you have a lot more diversity out here. Like, there's so many different countries that you don't get to see, you know, back in Canada and the United States and stuff like that, where it's a lot more of the basic, the Russia, Brazil, Canada, or United States, where here you have a lot more of the Middle Eastern countries and smaller countries that, you know, don't travel that far that often.
Right, and one thing that I wanted to ask you was, since you were you and Gary obviously are high-level fighters, how do you prepare for an opponent? I mean, most of the times you have fighters who just go there without a proper game plan. Is that something that you follow? What happens during the training camp? Can you just lead us through that? Yeah,
everyone's different. You know, for me, I don't really like watching much on my guys, but Gary's different, right? So we watched a lot on Steven and noticed his tendencies, and from there we went with what Gary needed to work on for the camp, you know, for his offense and stuff like that, and just to find sparring partners that would kind of emulate that style, so it's a comfortable look. Like, Steven's left-handed and Gary's left-handed, so he's used to usually facing orthodox fighters, so we had to get some left-handed southpaws coming in and sparring him, and just little things like that, and little combinations that we think would work, and footwork and things like that. And Gary likes that kind of stuff. I mean, even on the flight over here, we were watching some more footage on him, just kind of picking apart his game.
Right, and talking about gyms itself, how do you think TriStar is different from any other gym in the world?
I don't personally go to TriStar. Like, Gary splits his time. TriStar is good because it's, you know, you got Faraz Sahabi, who's a genius for an MMA coach, which, you know, it's pretty rare. You know, mostly you have like a good jiu-jitsu coach or a good stand-up coach or a good wrestling coach, where Faraz he's an MMA coach, right? And those are, you know, few and far between. But, and just the stable of guys, like when he went out there, he was able to find a lot of southpaws. And then back out west in Vancouver, where I do my training and stuff like that, we got a core group of guys, and Gary gets good rounds in there too as well. So his training camp's been perfect for this.
And as you said, Gary obviously watched a lot of tapes coming into this weekend. How do you go about during your fight week or during the training camp leading to your fight?
I will typically watch my opponent when it first gets announced. When they first give me his name, you know, I'll kind of take a look at him, and then after that, I don't bother anymore. You know, that's just me personally. You know, I don't like watching anything. I know what I got to do, and I'm just going to be the best me, rather than worrying about him or his tendencies. I just worry about myself, and I'll let my coaches watch and figure out whatever they want to do, and that's kind of what Gary was doing as well. And yeah, I typically don't like to dwell too much on his kind of style leading up to it.
Right, and you're slowly climbing up the featherweight rankings yourself. What do you think about the situation with Max Holloway, and he was supposed to fight Frankie Edgar, who pulled out? Now it's Jose Aldo. Swanson was kind of thrown into the mixture. What do you think about the whole situation in the featherweight division? Yeah,
I think it's up for grabs. You know, and it's funny when Lamas and Aldo, that fight got scrapped because Aldo got bumped. That's a Canadian card, and I was actually texting Sean Shelby trying to get on to fight Ricardo Lamas on short notice, because it's a Canadian card. There wouldn't be any visa issues. I'd be able to, you know, help him out, and I would love that fight. That's a huge jump up the rankings, and, you know, I would be willing to take that step. So I was hoping I would get it. It didn't happen, so it was nice. I came out here and I get to relax a bit, then come home, and then get ready for a January, February fight against whoever.
So is it Maynard that looks after you, or is it Shelby that
It's Sean Shelby who looks after me. Yeah.
Has he texted you about any possible opponent that you might face?
No, not right now. No, just he wanted me to get cleared because a guy got injured. So I was supposed to be fighting next weekend in Australia.
Right.
But
this weekend, you mean Sydney?
Sydney, yeah. So I guess this weekend, yeah. And yeah, I had to pull out because of a neck injury about a month ago.
Right.
But it's kind of coming together now. I'm back training, and then so he's just like, get cleared from a doctor, and then we'll move forward. And so I just messaged him actually just before I came out here.
Okay.
And then he said, when I get back, we'll talk about it. But I was trying to bump him for that Lamas fight, but it didn't happen.
Okay, and you know, obviously Bahrain is very different from countries like the United States or Canada. Yeah. Just the atmosphere or the hype surrounding the fight week. How do you relate this to what happens in North America?
It's a little different, but I mean, for the most part, it's great production by, you know, Brave and by the UFC, right? It's just a little different, some in different aspects, right? But yeah, I think it's going to be a big show. I mean, even when I was at the amateur tournament, a lot of the people there were talking about the fights this weekend, or Friday night. So I expect it to be a big show.
Right, and obviously, one major talking point with the UFC this week has been the whole Ali Act, the debacle that happened with the congressman and Mangat. Do you have any say on that topic? Or is it just a fine line that you just don't want to? Yeah,
that's exactly it. I mean, I think it'd be good for the fighters, and I'm a fighter, so you know that would obviously be my my vote and my standing. But I don't think I'm in the position to really be making any waves. I think I'm hoping, in a sense, it kind of trickles down and I get the benefits from it. But it needs bigger voices, you know, and everyone together. But I mean, as for me to go out and do something on my own right now, I'm kind of just focusing on fighting and, you know, getting my job done there.
All right. So one last thing, because this interview is for MMA India, obviously Indian fans. Do you have anything to say to the fans in India?
Yeah, I think it's really growing in India. It's cool. The last time I was with Gary was in Mumbai, and it was amazing to see the kind of support they had. And another fellow BC guy is Arjan Bular, who just debuted, you know, so it's cool to see the kind of following he gets. And there's a lot of people in India, you know, so if they get behind their fighters, it's going to be good.
One more has just been signed to the UFC, brother.
Yeah, he just got signed, and that's for Shanghai in China, right?
That's for Shanghai.
Exactly. So, yeah. Yeah, I think he fought in that Brave card in India. Yeah, so that'll be cool, and that's just showing you the doors opening for these guys. So hopefully they keep getting more and more fighters.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy.
Awesome.